Hey everyone, my name is George Farmer, also known as Aquascaper, and today I'm here at Sharnbrook Shrimp and I'm going to be giving these guys a tutorial on how to aquascape a display tank. So we've got Connor here, say hello Connor.
Hello.
And Carla.
Hello.
And these guys are new to aquascaping, so it's my mission today to create a really nice aquascape for these guys. These guys are going to be helping me out, hopefully learning a lot along the way, and the end result is going to be a beautiful aquascape which will help sell lots more products and also inspire and educate the customers and inspire and educate you guys as well, hopefully. So we're using a Denelade Scapers tank. This holds 50 litres. We're going to be using some environment aquarium soil. We've got the supplied Denelade Trocal LED lamp as well. And we're going to be using the Shrimp Lab range of products as well. So let's get going. So Connor's adding the soil. That's environment aquarium soil. He's adding, we've got a 9 litre bag there. We probably won't need the whole of the 9 litre bag. Keep going Connor, that's fine. Okay, so Connor's added probably about 6 litres I'd say. He's going to even it out quite flat. I'll go for about 1 inch, 2.5 centimetres at the front. And then see how even that goes across the whole footprint. It's probably not far off actually. So try and make it as flat as you can. Maybe put a little bit more in the back just to add that sense of depth. Okay, so Carla's got some lovely Sumatra wood. It's been pre-soaked and Carla's looked at the wood at all angles and she's determined which way is going to look best in the aquascape. And so Carla, do you want to put it in their tank, roughly central I'd say, at the right, whatever angle you think looks best. Maybe push it down, don't be afraid to push it into the soil. And then kind of make sure that the top left-hand piece isn't touching the glass so it's easier to clean. That's it, perfect. Okay, you happy with that? So Connor's got some nice dragonstone which you're going to be using in the aquascape, and it's really important to rinse off the dragonstone properly because it contains like a muddy clay in the crevices. So what you can do is just rinse it under a tap or ideally a pressure washer. But just to show you that the actual clay, Connor, if you just want to scrape that away there, you can actually see quite a lot of loose matter coming away, can't you? So it's really important to get rid of that because what will happen is when you fill the tank up with water, that will cloud the water quite significantly and we don't like that. So we're ready to add our dragonstone now. Dragonstone is a beautiful rock, it's got loads of features, but as we said, it does need cleaning thoroughly, which Connor's done already. And we're going to start off with we've pre-selected 3 lovely rocks, all different sizes, but we're going to start off with the biggest one and Connor's going to position it in the best place that he can to make it look as natural as possible. So Connor's, you can see he's using the strata and he's got it pointing towards the main weight, the main focal area of the wood. Yeah, I think that looks great, Connor, well done mate. And I'll just get a bit of a zoom in on that, just bear with me. Now Connor's going to use the next smallest piece on the other side of the tank, and again using that strata that's pointing all at the same point in the wood, the main focal point. Okay, and we tend to use odd numbers when aquascaping with rocks, so we're using 3 stones today, and Connor's just putting a nice piece towards the right at the back, and again the strata's pointing towards the main focal point. Okay, so I've looked at the aquascape, we've all looked at it together and we've all agreed that there's kind of too much open space to the left. We're not going to be planting a full carpet of plants, so I think it's important that we add some more stones just to add that extra interest. So Carla is going to position a couple more stones, so the total amount of stones will be 5, and we're going to position them in the best way possible to make it look as interesting and as natural as possible. So do you want to go ahead, Carla? So we've selected a stone that looks almost like an extension of the other stone, and we've deliberately left a gap. That's great, in between the two, so we can plant in between that gap and that will help add extra interest to the layout. So Carla's going to add the 5th and final stone now, and again using that strata, make it look as interesting as possible and natural. That's great. Now we're ready for planting, but before we do that we need to wet the soil. So Connor's going to wet the soil by using a spray mister. So get right up against the soil, get the thing right close up, that's it. Give it a good old spray. And then what that does, it makes planting easier, and then hopefully when we actually fill the aquarium up with water properly, there won't be so much clouding. Okay, so now we're ready to plant the tank. We've wet the soil, the hardscape's in place. I've chosen some plants, so I'll just go through them now. So our kind of main attraction, if you like, the main focal point plant that's going to go in the background is Alternanthera reinekii mini. That will turn a brighter red, and it tends to stay quite short. We could do a bit of a prune on that probably before we plant it. And then we're actually going to keep the substrate fairly unplanted. I have quite a lot of open substrate, but I will be planting some of this lovely Legendra. This is me Goldii red. It's very similar to Cryptocorini, but it has more of a rounded leaf, and it does have a beautiful sort of burgundy, brown, red texture colour even. So that's very attractive. And then towards the foreground, I've got a couple of really beautiful Cryptocorines, and we've got a classic Cryptocorine parva, which is one of the smallest crypts. And then we have an even smaller crypt, which I've never actually seen before, so I'm looking forward to trying this one out. This is Cryptocorine Lucia Hobbit, which looks like it could be shorter than parva. I'm not sure how big it gets when it's mature, but we'll see. So I look forward to trying that. And then attached to the decor, we'll have some classic trident leaf Java fern, which I've taken out of one of the holding tanks, attached to the wood. And then we've got some lovely Bucephalandras. So we've got a Bucephalandra wavy leaf. This is a fairly new species to the hobby, really popular at the moment. And my favourite Bucephalandra is a mini needle leaf, really, really small, beautiful little plant. Very similar to Anubias, really slow growing, really easy to care for, likes to be attached to decor. You can actually plant it in the substrate as well, but yeah, looks great attached to wood. And last but not least, we've got a couple of different varieties of Anubias. We've got this lovely coin leaf, which is very similar to Nana, but it has a more textured leaf, more of a ruffled leaf, and it's quite a round shape. And then we have a Nana bonsai, which is very much like the Anubias petite that you've probably seen. So that's the planting. So Connor's got the potted Alternanthera there, and he's going to prepare it for us. So if you just want to take it out of its pot, Connor, that's great. And then just remove the rock wool from the roots carefully, and then separate the stems. Okay, so Connor's prepared all the stems now. They're all separated, and we'll put them down somewhere separately, nice and safe. Don't put them in the container there. And then now and again, we'll just give them a bit of a spray to make sure they don't dry out too much. Okay, so we've prepped all the plants now, and Carla's got all the plants in a handy pot. We're going to keep that moist by spraying it regularly with the spray mister to stop the plants from drying out. Mycosorum or Java fern is particularly sensitive to being dried out, so we must keep spraying it with an appropriate bottle. So, perfect. And now we're ready to plant. So Carla's just adding a little bit more water to the soil, which is going to make planting a little bit easier. Just using a colander there to spread the water out evenly without hopefully disturbing the substrate too much. We might get a little bit of clouding, but after the tank's been running with a filter, that will clear in no time at all. So Connor's going to plant the Alternanthera in the background now using some tweezers. Always recommend using tweezers to plant, otherwise you tend to create a bit of a mess. You can use fingers for bigger plants, but especially for smaller rooted plants, tweezers are perfect. So this will eventually create a nice bright red background, hopefully, be a nice little focal point. So Connor's planting the last Alternanthera stem now. Perfect, well done mate. Okay, so Carla's ready to plant the next species, which is Legendra Goldii red, and that's going to go over to the left in between the two stones there. So do you want to go ahead, Carla? Okay, good. So Connor's going to plant the Cryptocorine next, but he's trimmed the roots. The roots were a little bit long for the substrate, so we've trimmed them back with some sharp scissors. That's going to stimulate new root growth. And Connor's going to plant it now over on the right hand side of the aquascape. So Carla's going to plant the Cryptocorine Hobbit next. So do you want to plant that, Carla, in front of the stone on the left? That's lovely. Okay. Now we're ready to attach the plants to the wood. I'm really lazy myself. I don't like tying cotton or even using super glue if I can help it. So if the wood has the opportunity to, sometimes it has lots of nooks and crannies or holes, or where the branches cross over, we can use that and we can literally just tuck the plant in and the plant will soon take hold in good growing conditions. So Connor's going to first of all attach the trident fern, and there's a perfect little hole there which he's going to tuck that into. Excellent. And now he's going to attach the coin leaf Anubias. The Connor's now going to attach the Anubias Nana bonsai. So there's a couple of holes in the rocks which we can just tuck it into neatly. It can be quite hard with the roots of Anubias. It's quite a robust plant. Just try not to move the rock around too much. Perfect. And then the last piece, just in between those two stones on the left. Okay, so now we're going to tie some moss onto the wood. Sam is going to tie some mini rose moss, which is a new moss to me. I've never grown it before, so it looks beautiful. It's quite a big textured leaf moss, so it should look lovely growing in between the water and the surface. So do you want to go ahead, Sam? So first of all, Sam's just getting some fishing line ready. Tied a noose on it, and she's going to offer up the moss to the wood. And then simply wrap the fishing line around the moss. So offering up a little bit more moss and then wrapping around the fishing line a bit more. And how long will that take to get established, Sam, do you think?
A couple of weeks.
Okay, perfect. Is it a slow grower or fast?
That's a slow growing moss.
Okay. And how do you tie off the end? Do you use super glue to tie it off? Or
just cut off the length and then tie it around in a knot to hold it in place.
Okay.
And just put super glue right on the very end to stop it unravelling. Just a tiny bit.
Perfect. And just trim the end off.
Just hold it for a minute while the glue dries and then...
Yeah. Okay, so Sam's now going to tie some Ricardia Camadryfolia, or Mini Pellia, is his common name. So again, she's tying a little noose on the fishing line, and offering up the Ricardia up to the wood. Yeah, this Ricardia has been grown in an adjacent tank, so it's really abundant, and that's why we're using it. There's loads spare. It's actually quite expensive to buy. I think it's about 12 quid a portion in the UK. So. Lovely. And a little dab of super glue just where the knot is, just to secure it. Just a tiny bit, because it can look a little bit unsightly. It turns white in the water. And then just cut off the excess fishing line. Okay, so the aquascape is now fully planted. We've got a lovely selection of plants. We've deliberately left quite an open substrate for the shrimp to explore, and so the customers can actually see the shrimp. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this grown in. Okay, so we're ready to fill. Connor's going to just use a small jug and refill from a big bucket of water and gently pour it into the colander. Just do it really gently to start with. Hopefully it won't cloud the substrate too much. Okay, Connor, so have you enjoyed today?
Definitely, yeah.
Have you learnt lots?
Yes.
Excellent. So what would you say the top 3 things you've learnt are from today?
I've learned the importance of strata when aquascaping a tank.
Okay, what's strata?
It's the sort of flow to the focal point. So
Okay.
like the rocks sort of lead up to the wood.
So they've got the natural line, haven't they, in the rocks? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I also learned about the importance of a focal point to give the viewer like a good point to look at in the tank.
Okay.
And then also I've learned how to properly plant plants into an aquarium without having to go with your fingers putting one up. So.
Excellent. Thanks, Connor. I hope you enjoyed today. I'm really looking forward to seeing the tank mature, and hopefully you'll do a good job of looking after it. Thanks, mate. Cheers. So we've got Carla now. Hopefully you've enjoyed today. Have you enjoyed today?
Yeah.
Excellent. Brilliant. So what would you say the things that you've learnt are?
The importance of adding water slowly after everything's planted.
Okay.
And then how easy it is to plant plants without using any glue by just placing it in between cracks in rocks.
Excellent. Perfect. So, okay, so that wraps it up for this video today. I've really enjoyed myself at Sharnbrook Shrimp. I think the guys have learnt loads. They can impart that knowledge onto their customers and sell more products, which is what shops are all about. But more importantly for me, it's all about inspiring a new generation of aquascapers. Hopefully I've got 2 more aquascapers hooked today. I'm really looking forward to seeing this tank develop. Just to summarise the tank itself, it's a Denelay Scapers tank, 50 litres. It comes with a trochal LED lamp, remineralised RO water using Shrimp Lab Caridina product here to give the water the minerals it needs. And I'm really impressed with the plants, all Denelay plants as well. So thanks so much for watching. If you do like what you see, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button and share with your friends. And finally, just keep on scaping. Cheers. Bye.